and I'm joined every week by my good friend, model, actress, supermom, and sometimes woman on the street. She does a lot of investigative stuff. She's covering all the sex harassment trials and Weinstein and Epstein and everything else. But Xen, it seems like, you know, right under our nose here in New York, this socialism is being foisted upon us with Mayor de Blasio putting, you know, hundreds of homeless people in 5-star hotels. What gives with this?
You know, John, this is insane. De Blasio has missed the mark every single time. And when coronavirus hit and swept through New York City, the city literally started filling up these boutique hotels on Manhattan's Upper West Side with homeless individuals and many homeless men, including convicted rapists, in an effort to reduce the virus spreading through the streets and the cramped shelters. Now, I don't know about you, but I live on the Upper East, but I'm going to say right now that residents in the family-friendly neighborhood that is the Upper West Side were shocked to find out that these homeless people included a dozen convicted sex offenders. Some were reportedly given rooms in the hotels a block from a school playground, and the city claims that there was not enough time to notify residents in advance or seek community input, which is a bunch of BS. There's my BS detector going off for de Blasio once again. That's like a ding ding right there. But in all around 800 people have been placed since April in Upper West Side hotels, costing taxpayers up to $400 a night, funded 75% by FEMA. And these hotels are literally brand name hotels. The Lucerne is at 79th Street in Amsterdam, Hotel Belclair at 76th Street and Broadway, and the Bel Nord at 87th and Broadway. These are not small motels. They are luxury 5-star hotels in New York City. Now, a number of these rooms are reportedly being occupied by registered sex offenders, including some convicted of child rape, child molestation, and possession of child porn. So all of this is brewing, and what has happened is frustrations over this has led to the formation of a Facebook page called Upper West Siders for Safer Streets. They founded the group in July, and it provides a platform for more than currently 12,000 members to share images and anecdotes of the neighborhood mayhem that's taking place. And then this month, the group became so popular that it evolved into a registered not-for-profit social welfare group called West Side Community Organization, and an associated GoFundMe campaign has raised $110,000 in less than 10 days in the quest to hire professionals in the field of communications, government relations, and law. That is how much people have lost faith in de Blasio, and people are no longer relying on the mayor nor the city. They have taken matters into their own hands.
So let me get this straight. If you're convicted of a sex crime, you got to register as a sex offender. So when you move into a neighborhood, you got to inform the police department, you got to inform the community board, hey, I'm a sex offender. Yep. And now in New York, at least, they're moving these homeless people, some of them sex offenders, into neighborhoods, but they're not telling a damn soul.
Exactly. And what you just said is key. They're not telling a damn soul. According to official guidance from the city's Department of Homeless Services, sex offenders, whether tier 2, 3, or 1, are to live at the men's shelter on Ward's Island, where there are no schools at all. But during the pandemic, the Department of Homeless Services has broken its own rules on sex offenders, and where they are housed over and over again, and now they're on the Upper West Side. So, you know, within this past month, we've had an influx of these sex offenders, homeless people, and literally the community has felt it. This has just frustrated the residents who have been blindsided by this. They also claim that the crimes committed in recent days are beyond anything they could have ever imagined in a pre-coronavirus world. There's been random stabbings of a woman at the subway station, a sucker punch of a man dining outdoors, and the shock of all, a sight of a man masturbating on the steps of the storied New York Historical Society. So, you know, these hotels, they come out, the homeless people and the crowd comes out around 9 a.m. They step into the neighborhoods and cause all kinds of chaos.
Oh my God.
Vandalism, breaking. De Blasio needs to get taken out of his position.
I like that. Well, if you remove the of his position, he needs to get taken out. That's for sure. I mean, one way or the other, we need this guy to go. You know what I mean? Maybe we should get some renegades to put a ransom out to convince him to step down or something. But you know what many people don't realize here in New York is you got to be careful what you wish for, because if de Blasio does step down, the next in line is Jumaane Williams, the New York City public advocate, and he was calling to defund police like 5 years ago. So you know it's worse actually.
John Catsimatidis runs for mayor and cleans up. That's what our hope is, that John Catsimatidis will run for mayor and take over.
No, let's hope John Katz sees a path to victory and gets in there, because we need a Trump-like figure, not a lifetime politician, not some progressive leftist, someone who's going to come in and the people, all people, can believe that this guy cares about our city and not how much he and his wife can suck out of our city. Like Bill de Blasio and Shirlane, they made $800 million disappear just like that.
Yeah, who's investigating that?
Yeah, no one. Any investigations opened on de Blasio, he squashes right away. And, you know, Shirlane was supposed to be running this Thrive New York, which was a mental health program. They spent, you know, almost $800 million. And when they brought in the executive director of the thing who runs it and asked her what the results were after all, she said, we have no measurable results. So they have no way of monitoring, you know, other than if the phone rings on one of the helplines. So at every turn, this guy is screwing the city. And many blue mayors around the country, Seattle, Minneapolis, it's all these blue progressive mayors who are allowing their cities to go backwards in time.
Yep, I totally agree. He needs to be taken out. Did you hear about taken out? Let's talk about NBC Universal and Warner Brothers. What's going on there? Did you hear about the big scandal? Charlotte Kirk taking down 2 major studio heads?
I heard something about it, but I thought you were going to fill us in on more of the details. Ron Meyer, I know, is having some problems here.
So here we go. Charlotte Kirk, she's Australian native, but she's born in the UK, in England. She's all but 28 years old, and she literally has managed to take down 2 studio heads, NBC Universal and Warner Brothers. It almost sounds like a primetime soap opera. This aspiring actor who somehow brings down 2 of the most powerful men in Hollywood. And yet, despite her enormous impact on the industry and her prolific and free-spirited presence on Instagram, because she does have a very free spirit, you know, on Instagram, she interacts, she remains a rather mysterious figure in the industry. But what I could tell you right now is that NBC Universal chairman Ron Meyer confessed to his CEO, Jeff Shell, that he was having an affair with an actress named Charlotte Kirk back in 2013, and he had reached a $2 million settlement with her just last year. So to put things into perspective, Charlotte Kirk met Meyer around 2012 when she would have been 19 or 20, and they began an affair. Meyer would have been 67 or 68. We're talking about co-chairman of NBC Universal. And just like that, Meyer was out of a job with a 56-year career and a legacy that literally went down the drain upon that confession.
Yep.
Now, Charlotte Kirk is no innocent, you know, she's no innocent.
Nah, she knows what she's doing. I've been following this story. She took down 2 studio heads. You know, it's everything that Weinstein was accused of. But I kind of think she was playing the game.
Yeah, she is basically the opposite. She is Harvey Weinstein in this case. And, you know, she's said to have Asperger's syndrome. And I want to step away from taking a punch at her because of this mental infirmity. But, you know, look, she was possibly promised roles and auditions in exchange for sex. So this has been a pattern for her. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, her extramarital affair with former Warner Brothers CEO Kevin Tsujihara in 2012 ultimately led to his resignation last year. He stepped down as the CEO of Warner Brothers Entertainment, and it was revealed that he tried to get her film auditions. Now, this girl seems to be moving very fluidly throughout the industry. How does this all tie in? Here's the kicker. In 2012, while this Universal affair is taking place with Meyer, she was also involved with James Packer. And Packard, you might know him, John. Packard was a partner at the time in a company called Rat Pack Entertainment.
Yep.
Relevant info here. Rat Pack Entertainment at the time was owned by Brett Ratner, James Packer, and Stephen Mnuchin before he sold.
Oh, yeah.
And he became President Trump's Treasury Secretary.
All right.
After she dates Packer, he introduces her to Warner Brothers Sugihara in 2013.
So she killed a bunch of them. She got a bunch of them.
A bunch of names, and now the FBI is involved because Ron Mayer is seeking.
All right, we went over this before. All right, we got to leave it there.
Okay,
we're out of time. Apparently, these guys were, the age-old story. Chasing after that Asperger gets you in a lot of trouble. Quick break. Back after this.